What is up, everybody? Adam here with Cover Band Confidential, and today I want to talk about how I made $250 not playing music. Currently, I have no gigs on the horizon. I have nothing booked, but this week was interesting in that I made $250 not playing music. Here's how. So if you are a listener to the Cover Band Confidential podcast, which you should definitely be, we have over 100 episodes and lots of good content there. In late May, I was approached by a corporate group who had a couple of wedding dates in September already booked that their guitar player needed to sub out. So the gigs were in early September, and I was going to make roughly $600 between the two dates. That even if he didn't need me, he was going to pay me $200 just to hold the dates. So early last week, I followed up with him and said, hey, just wanted to touch base. I know things have changed a bit. And listen, if you don't need me for those dates and you tell me before August 1st, don't worry about paying me the $200. I don't feel right taking that money from you because I understand that if you're not playing, then you're not making money. And he followed up and said, oh, that's really cool of you to say that. Let me check a couple things and I'll let you know. A couple days later, he came back and said, hey, listen, you know, his whole plan was he was going to Europe, and now as Americans, we can't go to Europe, so he can't go on his trip. And he basically told me to release those dates. No big deal. Then he said, hey man, can you send me your PayPal? I just want to do something for you since, you know, you were being nice about it. So I sent him my PayPal and he sent me $50. That is one of those situations where I knew that the right thing to do was to go ahead and release the dates and not hold him to that. I have a sneaking suspicion that in those moments, doing the right thing will pay off later on than it would be to take that $200 and potentially, you know, put him in a rough spot and affect my standing with him in that group in the future. So the other payday I got is from a church. I know a lot of you guys play for churches, and those gigs have completely dried up because a lot of them aren't doing services right now. The church that I play for is doing what they call honorariums for their contractors. So I have been added to services that aren't necessarily happening and being paid as if I was playing them. And one of those dates just happened to pop up this week, so I've got a check coming in for $200 for that, just for holding that date. Now, I know that this is a very specific situation and a very specific kind of work, but I just wanted to talk about how having a good reputation and being a solid person can pay off just as much as being a talented and reliable musician. So theoretically, I could have held those other dates and held that guitar player to that, but I knew that in doing so, I was actually hurting him, and it didn't feel like the right thing to do. So while I could have made more money, I feel like on the back end, my reputation is more valuable than a single payday. And my hope is that by doing the right thing, later on, maybe something good comes back that way. Now, I'm not expecting anything from that person or from that gig necessarily, but when push comes to shove, I want people to think of me as a solid, good person than necessarily a hotshot guitar player or, you know, whatever. And as far as the church gig goes, the music director for that church is a person that I use as a sub occasionally in my corporate band. And that is a relationship that I fostered as a friendship that became a working relationship that then kind of parlayed itself into me doing some contract work for them. Now at this point, the amount of gigs that he has provided me has completely outweighed the gigs that I provided for him. But it's a mutually beneficial relationship in that we are offering certain kinds of creative outlets for each other. For me, I really enjoy playing worship music, and for him, he really likes getting out of the worship realm and doing something that's just for fun. A couple of weeks ago, he had sent me an email that just was like, hey, thanks for, you know, taking a shot on me. It had been a long time since I'd done that kind of work, and it really kind of was a shot in the arm for me creatively. It was a cool reminder that a lot of times we have leverage that we don't even think about and we don't always use strategically. And listen, leverage is a funny thing because it does give you the ability to make things happen for yourself, but if not wielded correctly, it can blow up in your face. And I feel like these two situations are good examples of doing things for other people and not asking for anything in return. And maybe nothing comes of it, but there is a good possibility that these relationships and making the right decision in the right moment might pay off more in the future. So I just want to say to any of you watching this now to think a lot about what you can offer other people in this current situation, not necessarily what you can take from them, because this is temporary and we will be on the other side of this one day. And the relationships and the choices you make in this current situation might be beneficial to you in the future in ways that you may not necessarily see right now. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the podcast. We have over 100 episodes on the platform of your choice. And with that, I will talk to you later.